The manatee dies in collision with watercraft. Man who does not protect the manatee. What steward of the earth is this unnatural man? Man who makes no concession to manatee. The manatee dies with the ingestion of fish hooks. Man who unnaturally makes no concession. The manatee dies from litter and monofilament lines. Man who is rank in attitude and has no use for manatee. The manatee dies entrapped in crab trap lines. The manatee dies from loss of habitat claimed by man. The manatee is maimed by man. The manatee could be aided by man. Man, oh aid the manatee. Come to the manatee heart. A manatee calf is born every 2 to 5 years. A manatee gestates for a year in the manatee womb. 8,400 miles of tidal waters could be for the manatee. 11,000 miles of rivers and stream could be for the manatee. 10,000 miles of canals, would they all be for the manatee? The manatee has more gray matter in the brain than man. The manatee is perhaps thinking archivally deeper than man. Ancient days of manatee, so many thousands of years. Manatee mind, what is the mind of manatee? The manatee has no natural enemies. The manatee is completely herbivorous. The metabolism of the manatee is slow, moves slowly. The manatee moves in estuaries, moves in saltwater bays. The manatee moves in slow-moving rivers. The manatee is gentle. The manatee offspring nurses for up to 2 years. The manatee learns everything from the manatee mother. The manatee mothers and offspring sing to one another. The manatee have large ear bones, chirps, whistles, squeaks of the manatee. The manatee, in moving slowly, moves gently. Oscillations of the manatee moving between the manatee ears, ears of the manatee mother and manatee offspring. Manatee are our sirenians and live in the house of the sirens. Where are the human sanctuaries for the manatee? Manatees, mermaids, sirens singing, move slowly. The manatee mother and calf so bonded, female manatee bonded with her just one manatee offspring. The manatee is found in shallow, slow-moving rivers. The manatee moves in estuaries, moves in saltwater bays. And we have a few more minutes? Okay, I'll end with one little piece and this other section from a piece called, well, it's a whole book. I seem not to be able to write little poems anymore, but anyway, it's from a text called Structure of the World Compared to a Bubble. And it comes out of a trip to the Borobudur Stupa in Java, which sits on the beautiful Kedu Plain. It's a miraculous stupa, Buddhist stupa, with a very kind of troubled history. It was, came from, a stupa is a kind of burial terminus, but this particular stupa is a kind of map or mandala of what's called the Mahayana path, which is the sort of middle path, the Bodhisattva path in Buddhism. So as you circumambulate, you're reading these wonderful pictures of telling, they're sutras and they're telling the past lives of the Buddha, and you ascend to the top, which becomes more, it's a little like the, getting to Paradiso in Dante's climb. It gets more abstract and more, no images really, and there's an empty Buddha cage at the top. But so I tried to have this poem be an investigation into the sort of philosophy of the Mahayana. And at one point, I'm sort of exploring what's called the 6 realms And so you have the hell realms, then you move into what's called the hungry ghost realms, the animal realm, the human realm, and then you move into the god realms, the warring god realm and the blissed out god realm. And in this sort of map, it's the human realm where there's most possibility for communication. So within the poem, there are these prose sections that are each taking on the state of mind of the different realms. So this was the warring god realm state of mind. And I hope we're not getting into more war. We just can't do that. But something to be said about the warring god realm. It's a kind of mentality where there's always an enemy. You have to create an enemy to have something to do with your mind. And it's a very interesting. It's sort of Pentagon mentality. This kind of always second guessing and being able to respond to the attack of what's coming from outside. So it's a very paranoid realm. So anyway, this piece tries to capture some of that. And it also, the vocabulary is from actual terminology for these weapons in space, this plan for weapons in space, which we're hoping is not going to happen, but this has been very conceptualized, the whole idea of weapons in space. So when I say, Cosmos positioning machine, NAT robot threat detector, this is actually, it sounds like a cartoon, but maybe some of you know some of this language. So I'm trying to embody the strangeness of the language. Warring God realm. See back of all the hidden corners, everyone is me, my own, the enemy. Everyone is, oh, you ministers and robber barons of death. Everyone is, oh, you traffickers in body parts and banknotes of death. Everyone is looking at you from behind your back, the agent provocateurs of desire behind your back, backing you up. I say I have eyes in the back of my head. I say I have probing eyes to take you out. I say, Cosmos positioning machines to monitor every mood swing. I say, thermal imaging devices to spot you 6 miles away at any time of the day or night. You better come out of your cave, your nook, your cranny, your crack dope den, your crevasse, your secret planet, or stop hiding your missiles behind the moon and take the heat. I say all this. Plot a moment, maintain this dangerous moment. Language is a game, a distress, a war. Language is a quill in hand performance. All the particles of desire in language could make you name the weapons in space, relative or absolute space. All corners are suspicious and distressed in my distressing language of dominance and oblivion. Where is foreplay? I say this in my Destructo Swarmbot voice. In my robo-bug voice, I say, don't mess with me. In my NAT robot threat detector voice, don't play games with me, who sees all the hidden corners out of all my robo-bug eyes, all the suspicious preemptive moves. I am extremely efficient with my proud Destructo Swarmbot jaw, with proud face to show you accuracy in every cranial blow I administer. I say, I sing, I am resolute in moil and toil, in occupational progress on the ground. I say I sing in my Ming Mung Kabao song. I say I'll sing a patriotic cannibal song, a transformative get down and grovel deportation song. I sing of warfighter, of orbital imaging and surveillance of arms, and no man of arms in space, and no man left behind, and no man in space where we can launch our kinetic energy rods, our oxygen suckers, our happy suppression clouds, our big deal cluster satellites, our holographic decoys, our sexy microwave guns, when we will launch our 360-degree sword-mounted displays, our pyrotechnic electromagnetic pulses, our searing flechettes, space. Oh, I sing of space, the injured Dharmakaya space, the sweet relative space. Everything capitalized and romanticized in German noun space, in American empire space, and in the ultimate high ground space, the tower from which to pour boiling oil. I say global battleship dominance. I say full spectrum dominance and pour more boiling oil. We must, oh earthlings, have the ability to control the high ground of space with our hyperspectral, subtle light signature observation device, which distinguishes a field of oats from a field of barley and tells you the specific species of oats and whether the field contains, is it natural or genetically altered oats, and whether the field is infested with insects or damaged by nitrogen depletion, and tanks under trees. I sing thus in my holographic battleship deception voice of tanks under trees. I sing of what will be no space left behind.